Mr. President, I heard the remarks of the distinguished senator from New York, and obviously I agree, and I guess would like to add my 6 cents to the arguments presented. I'm a 19-year member of the Judiciary Committee, so I've had a front row seat for judicial nominations for a long, long time. And over 800 judges have been confirmed since I came to the Senate. Now, it wasn't so long ago that liberals and conservatives could easily win confirmation, as long as they were well qualified, would be fair-minded, had judicial temperament, they were confirmed. And it may even surprise some that Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg was confirmed by a vote of 96-3. And Justice Antonin Scalia was confirmed 98-0. That was a different time. Today, partisanship has stalled even the most uncontroversial judicial appointments. Senate Republicans allowed no nominees to be confirmed at the end of the last session and have allowed but 5 so far this year. In this environment, even those reported out of committee by voice vote without any controversy are unable to receive a floor vote for many months, if they ever receive one at all. Let me give you a recent example. A judge that I nominated to the president, Judge Kathy Benjavengo's nomination to the Southern District of California, was approved by the Judiciary Committee by voice vote, yet she waited 4 months for a floor vote. And then she was ultimately confirmed 90-6, showing that there simply was no need to hold up the nomination in the first place. This level of obstruction is relatively new and has impeded the confirmation process for both judicial and executive branch nominees. Let's do a quick comparison. Nearly 80% of President George W. Bush's judicial nominees during his first term were confirmed. 80%. In contrast, less than 60% of President Obama's judicial nominees have been confirmed. As a result, the judicial vacancy rate stands at nearly 10%. That's double what it was when President Bush left office. Similarly, during the first session of the 112th Congress, the confirmation rate of President Obama's executive branch appointments was only 51%. President George W. Bush and Bill Clinton each had a confirmation rate of over 70% during comparable periods in their presidency. So clearly, there have been a change post-Clinton. And I think that's what we're talking about. This is not good for the judiciary. It is not good for this body, and it is not good as standard operating practice of the United States Senate. It's clear that we're seeing a degree of obstruction that's unprecedented and that hampers the ability of the judicial and executive branches to perform their constitutional functions. It is preventing us, the legislative branch, from fulfilling the responsibility that we owe to the 2 other branches of government. In my state, we have 3 nominees, each for positions the Judicial Conference has declared to be judicial emergencies, which means extraordinarily heavy caseloads. These should win confirmation without delay. I'll give you one, Judge Jacqueline Wynn, a nominee for the Ninth Circuit. She is a remarkable jurist with an impeccable record. She was confirmed to the district court 97-0 in 2009. She was approved by the Judiciary Committee for the Ninth Circuit by a bipartisan voice vote. Yet her nomination has been pending on the floor for nearly 3 months. An easy one, unanimously passed, has served as a district court judge, could be voted for and passed, if not by 100%, very close to it. The Ninth Circuit, which has by far more pending cases per appellate panel than any other appellate court, needs her to be confirmed without further delay. There's a reason for this. I think Republicans don't like some of the appellate courts. Therefore, what they try to do, candidly, is keep the positions vacant in hope that after the election there'll be a Republican president and they will get their nominees through. Well, you know, what's sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. And this is not, I think, a good way to handle judicial appointments. Let me give you another one. Paul Watford should be confirmed quickly to the Ninth Circuit. He's eminently qualified. He clerked for conservative Ninth Circuit Judge Alex Kozinski and Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. He served as a federal prosecutor, and he's been a distinguished practitioner of appellate law in California for many years. He's uncontroversial. He's been endorsed by the former president of the Los Angeles chapter of the Federalist Society, by conservative law professor Eugene Volokh, and by the general counsels of several major corporations that he has represented in appellate cases. The Senate should confirm him without delay. Another, Michael Fitzgerald, a nominee to the Central District of California, should also be confirmed quickly. This is a court that ranks as the 9th busiest in the nation in terms of filings per judgeship. And Mr. Fitzgerald is an extraordinarily qualified nominee with 25 years of experience as a federal prosecutor and as a lawyer in private practice. His nomination was also reported by the Judiciary Committee by a bipartisan voice vote. Yet his nomination has been waiting for a vote on the floor for nearly 4 months. All of this unnecessary. They could go through by unanimous consent. Now, I understand that some of my Republican colleagues believe that President Obama's recent recess appointments are a reason to delay needed confirmations to overburden courts around the country. And I would simply remind my colleagues of a bit of history and ask them to think carefully about whether they want to go down this very dangerous path. Many will recall that President Bush made 2 controversial recess appointments to the 11th Circuit and the 6th Circuit in early 2004. Like Republicans now, Democrats were upset about the president's appointments. Nevertheless, in the 3 months that followed, Democrats permitted numerous circuit court and district court nominees to be confirmed. The Senate continued to act on such nominees until September of 2004, 2 months before the presidential election. So I say to my colleagues, and I say this respectfully, take a step back. Do not obstruct every judicial nomination from this president. Our judicial system depends on a Senate willing to do its constitutional duty and provide advice and consent to judicial nominees. Most pending nominees are well-qualified consensus choices for courts that urgently need them to begin their service. We should confirm them without delay. You know, our job is to vote. Our job is not really to obstruct, to delay. It's to vote because we function on a majority system. And if you don't think someone is qualified, if you don't believe they have judicial temperament, if you don't believe they have enough experience, if you don't like them for any reason, vote no. That's entirely within the prerogative of a senator. But to hold them up, despite judicial emergencies, despite high caseloads, is to impact the system of justice. And I think this 10% vacancy factor now indicates that the condition of justice is in fact being affected throughout our country, and particularly in Ninth Circuit and in California cases, as well as many other states. So I thank the chair and I yield the floor.